Welcome to season 6 of the RAG podcast. Now, for those of you who don't know, the RAG stands for Recruitment Agency Growth, and this show has been around since early 2019. And every week, we are obsessed with finding out how the world's most successful and innovative recruitment agencies and their founders have got to where they are today. In season 6, alongside the founder's story and the inside information of that business, I also want to focus on the reality of today's economy. There is so much noise about this inevitable recession that we find ourselves in right now. And where it's going to go, is it really having an impact on the recruitment sector? Are they seeing any change in job flow? Are they seeing any change in candidate control or activity? What is going on? I want to find out. So every single week, I want to forget the propaganda, forget the noise. I'm going to speak to a real life recruitment owner and find out what is going on in their business. I will bring it to you every single Wednesday from 12 o'clock across multiple platforms. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the RAG podcast. On this week's show, you are going to only work with me this week, right? There's no guest. This week, I wanted to release a very special episode, which is based on a webinar I recently hosted to the market, all about using LinkedIn to boost your business development. For those of you that don't know, hopefully you know, but my business is all about working with thousands, I actually work with 4,800 recruiters globally right now to teach them how to win on LinkedIn. Right now, the market is tough. Last week's episode with DSP explained how the market is super tough. Job flow is down. Confidence isn't in the market. Clients are taking longer to make decisions. And so I wanted to give you guys some free advice, 3 clever ways that you and your teams can boost your business development using LinkedIn. This is all part of the process I teach through my academy, but I wanted to give you 30 minutes free today, some advice that you can use to take straight to LinkedIn and make some extra revenue, build some more client relationships and get some more jobs on. Now, this is obviously a big video session, so you can listen to this on the podcast or you can flip to YouTube and watch this with the video recorded, because the slides and the stuff that I show and examples that you might want to see. Whichever way you're consuming this, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever, I hope you get the most out of this. I hope you make the most of this. Listen, take it, put it into practice, and go out there and win in a market that is super competitive right now. So without further ado, what I'm going to talk about today is either going to be applicable to you personally, or you and your teams, okay? So let's just get into it. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to crack on. So I'm going to talk about 3 clever ways you can boost your business development activity on LinkedIn, all right? And this is only for the people in the recruitment industry. If you're outside of recruitment, the same stuff applies, but I'm talking to recruiters today. Okay, so what I'm going to cover is, number 1, what is BD like in 2023? I'm going to talk about the reality of LinkedIn as we know it right now. And then I'm going to give you those 3 tips. I'm going to give you some real insights. Okay, so BD in 2023. Okay, do me a favor in the chat and just let me know, yes or no. Are you personally responsible for business development right now? If you say no, I'm expecting that's other people in the business and you're here just to find out for them, like a marketing executive or whatever. But are you personally doing BD? Right. Okay, so it's pretty much everyone on the call. All right. Let me know if you'd agree with the following statement. Just put a yes or a no. Are jobs down right now compared to the last 2 years? Would your job flow be lower than it was in the last 2 years? Richard's put no. Okay. Across industry and recruitment, it is down, right? If you're not down, you're doing really well. But across the industry, I'm working with 4,800 recruiters right now, and I've asked pretty much all of them job flow questions over the last 3 months, and it is down. You know, industry-wide, it's down. Okay, and today is a tougher market. Like, it's no joke. The last couple of years have been an unbelievable ride for the recruitment industry, but right now it's down. And when vacancies are down, it's not just that there's a lower volume. Would you agree, yes or no, that slightly longer to fill, the fill rate time to fill is down? So when we get a job on, it's actually slightly longer. People take longer to make decisions. There might be a few extra hoops in the interview process. Just let me know if you agree with that. I'm hearing it everywhere that there's extra sign-offs and approvals and more people to meet. And it's basically because people are so protective of their cash. They want to make sure that every decision they make is the best. But that means that clients are actually slower, and it's a tougher market in that way. They're almost looking at reasons not to recruit. Yeah, get that. There's extra hoops. And that breeds a lack of confidence based on overhiring, right? So if we look at the last couple of years, COVID, we had this standstill, then it went bang for 18 months to 2 years. Clients just went, let's just hire. And now there's a confidence issue. It's not even a financial issue for a lot of businesses. They've got the money. Would you agree with this? Like, businesses have done really well for the last 2 years. They're stockpiling cash. They're not sat there struggling financially necessarily. It's more about confidence, the knock-on effect of the economy, of the price of energy, recession conversations. It's all confidence. And as a result, people slow down. And again, this is all sectors. I'm literally about to release a podcast this week with David Spencer Percival, who's the founder of Life Science People. Life Sciences, I interviewed him 18 months ago when the market is going sky high. And he talks about how the market is amazing and life sciences is almost recession proof. No, they've had a horrific 6 months. He was really honest about how job flow fell off a cliff in October, November last year. So even like finance, even roles where they're building, medicines to keep us alive, there's been a significant dip. So this is not one industry or another. And that breeds more competition. Now, I'm only looking at UK data, and this is from 2021, according to the REC. There was 40,000 recruitment agencies in the UK and 9,000 in London alone, right? So almost a quarter in the city of London. And that with over 150,000 recruiters, we can guarantee that number is higher now. There's just no published data for 2023 that I could find. And when jobs are down and competition, and there's that many people in your market, the competition to win the business is higher. Guys, would you agree, yes or no, you're in a competitive space? Like, you are not the only recruiter that recruits what you do, personally and collectively as an agency. Are you in a competitive market? As in, there's lots of other agencies do exactly what you do, yeah? That's only going to get more difficult, okay? So when we've got a lower volume of work and we've got a higher volume of people trying to find that work, it's going to get more difficult. Exactly, David. Not just agencies, but direct teams, candidates applying direct to hiring to businesses. It's a tough space. So when times are tough, we need to be different. When job flow's high, we can get away on just focusing on that 180 fill rate. But when the job flow is down, it's essential we're different. And actually, a lot of people in the industry, I've heard too much of this. It's actually annoying, but there is a lot of people in our industry that have only joined in the last 2 years that have never done BD. And there's a lot of people in our industry that have been in it for long enough, but haven't had to do BD. Just give me a yes if you agree with either of those statements, that, there's people out there that haven't done it, and there's people that haven't done it for 2 years, that haven't had to flex that muscle. And that, again, affects confidence. That affects the way in which you approach BD. Like, shit, I haven't done this for years. I haven't actually picked up the phone. I haven't sent outbound messages for any. I've just been filling jobs. But we've got to do it. We've got to be prepared to do it. And the bad news is, if you just send in mails and post jobs on LinkedIn, you're literally the opposite of innovating right now, okay? That is what every single recruiter on the planet resorts to. Posting every job they get and posting old jobs, just trying to generate any kind of interest, and just sending hours on emails on Recruiter. DM, 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 okay? That is not innovation. So what do we need to know about LinkedIn? Because that's why I'm talking. I believe we need to innovate on LinkedIn. Well, this is a graph that shows the users published in January of every year since 2013. So over 10 years, LinkedIn usage has gone from 218 million to 900 million. And that is a year-on-year growth rate. That is not a up and down. That is a boom, linear curve up. Now, it's going to have a finite amount of years it can grow at such pace because it will just run out of human beings. But Microsoft invested in the platform. That has literally exploded how many people use it and how confident people are to use it on a daily basis. Would you agree, yes or no? Are your candidates and clients, well, let's look at your clients because it's about BD today. Are your hiring managers active, as in they've got a LinkedIn profile and they do use it? Would you believe so? Yeah. If the answer is no, you might not want to be on the rest of this call. Let's not waste each other's time. So Richard, not all or not at all. That's two different answers, right? Is it not all, as in some are? If some are, brilliant. If you don't think anyone in your market's on it, then you can skip. But if you believe they're all on it, then, that graph also shows you that there's probably more than some. There's 900 million people, nearly 1 billion users, and it's going up at that rate. So even if 30% of your market are on it, by next year and the year after, we can see the linear line. It's going one way. Okay. And LinkedIn have published the data to prove that it's the best channel for recruitment. Okay. It's the top 3 job search and talent sourcing platform. Every minute, 8 people are hired through LinkedIn. There was an 88% increase in confirmed hires year over year in Q3 of last year. And over 90% of recruiters are on it. So it's competitive, but it's yielded results. It's the number one place to go for recruiters. But in-mails are not getting the responses that people are wanting and they're paying for. Let me know in the chat if you use LinkedIn Recruiter. Just give me a yes or no. Do you use LinkedIn Recruiter? It's a very expensive tool, right? It's not cheap. But across the industry, LinkedIn Recruiter in-mail open rates are 10% or lower, okay? Now, whether it's Sales Nav, whether it's Recruiter, if you're sending in-mails to someone who you're not connected to, that means they're outside of your network. And these people reply at a rate of less than 10% because they're outside of your network. And that means they don't know who you are. They don't trust you. They have no understanding of you, your name, or your value. Therefore, it is so easy not to reply. To get a higher response rate, ultimately, you need a larger network, and people need to know who you are. It's that simple. Your network is your net worth. Yes or no? Have you ever heard that phrase in recruitment? Your network is your net worth. Have you heard it? It's so important. The more people recognize you, the higher chance they've got of replying. So in a tough market, you need to stand out. You need to be innovating. It's more competitive. There's less jobs. And I believe the only way you can do that is through building a clear, consistent, and memorable personal brand. Okay. And that is what we're going to talk about, how your personal brand enhances your business development on LinkedIn. Because in 2022, we saw 22% increase in engagement on LinkedIn profiles. This was my personal stats for 9 months of last year. Look, 6.8 million views as opposed to 3.1 million the year before. I didn't do anything extra. I didn't post any extra content, but I got, almost double the engagement across the board. But LinkedIn published 22% increase in engagement on the platform. Now, out of interest, before I flick to the next slide, yes or no, do you believe that everyone is now using LinkedIn and putting out content? Do you think that's super competitive right now? Do you think everyone's at it? Interestingly, more than ever, but not everyone is a good answer. Actually, a very small percentage. This is the truth, right? At the beginning of this year, only 1% of LinkedIn's 3 million monthly users share post. And those 3 million or so users net 9 billion. Sorry, 1% of LinkedIn's users that go to the platform there's 300 million go every month. So a third of LinkedIn users go to the platform once a month, and only 1% of those people, 3 million, actually produce content. So we've got a 0.3% of all LinkedIn profiles produce content, and those 3 million, that's 0.3%, generate the 9 billion eyeballs. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Opportunity. Trust me, right now, your clients don't know who you are, or they are getting peppered and bombarded by other people through traditional channels. And most of it is DMs and blind cold calls, right? There's only 1% of the market going to the platform, and then it's literally 0.3% actually putting out content, which is incredible. So how can you use LinkedIn to generate more business? Well, the number one thing I would say is if you're trying to engage clients on LinkedIn, you need to do 2 things. You need to optimize how your profile's written for clients, and you need to grow your network of clients on LinkedIn, right? So the first thing is, on average, people spend less than 5 seconds viewing your profile. Okay. Imagine your target client read your profile right now. Just ask yourself a question on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. In 5 seconds, would your client see and read information that really reflects exactly what you want them to know about you? 10 is absolutely, 1 is probably not at all. Where would you put yourself? Some pretty high numbers here, some low. I would be pushed to say, I've not even looked at your profiles, but most of you will be a bit lower than you think. If you really have one opportunity for them to read your profile and convert and think, right, I want to engage that person, it's got to be as high as it can be. Okay. And the reason that 10% of these people don't engage you is because they don't recognize you. So to get a higher response rate, you need to be recognized. And to be recognized, you need to be connected. How many LinkedIn contacts have you got first degree right now? Put it in the chat. How many LinkedIn connections you got? 4,000, 7,500, 15,000, 27,000, 25,000, 2,500. Don't know. All right. If you and your teams are not at 30,000 yet, then you've got room to grow. Unless your market is tiny, which most aren't. David, was it David here? David Gad, you put 27. You're nearly at the end. Good work. But you can have unlimited followers. So if you're at 30,000, you need to just focus on following and cleaning up. If you're not there, you need to go out and get it. All right? Because there's way more chance of someone responding to a DM than an in-mail because they know who you are. Okay? Because you're connected. Because there's a mutual connection there. And it can take less than 3 minutes to connect to 20 new people a day if you save a search. So if you come in every day and you know who you're connecting to client-wise, create a client search on SalesNav, on Recruiter, on the normal recruitment platform, on the normal LinkedIn platform. Don't come in every day and try and find people to connect to. Create a strategic list of clients that you would like to connect to over the next 12 months. Okay. And there needs to be, 100 a week. 100 a week times 50 weeks is 5,000. There needs to be at least 5,000 in that search. And you need to go out every day, every week and grow them. I would also drop a connection request. If you write the message, if you send a message when you connect with someone, what are they likely to do, guys? What are they likely to do? If I write a message, what are people likely to think or do? Do you know? Read it and search on you. No, the truth is they're going to read it and judge you on the message and they're going to expect to be sold to. Yes, Jamie. How often do you get messages saying, hi, I would like to expand my network and you keep coming up on my radar? I mean, it's a load of crap, right? It's so generic and it's automated and it's a bot. Drop the message, connect with someone, and the chances of them responding and connecting with you are then based on this activity, your profile. If your profile's written really well, people are going to judge you on it. If you write a message, they're going to judge you on the message. And if you've copied and pasted that message and it comes across generic, you're done. So drop the message, save the search, and go and connect to 20 people every day. Okay. The next thing I advise you to do is nurture your client contacts at scale. Okay. I'm interrupting today's episode to give you a message from our sponsor, Recruitment. These guys have now had 70 founders launch on their business, the Recruit Hub, in the UK, US, and UAE since inception. One of these founders was Stuart Mitchell, the founder of Hampton North in the US. With experience of recruiting in both the US and the UK, Stuart is $1 million biller, and he formed the business to tackle the biggest problem he saw in cybersecurity, which is the talent shortage. Moreover, Stuart felt like he'd ran out of personal growth. He wanted to do things his own way and put his own spin on something, become his own business owner. His advice for anyone thinking about starting their own recruitment business is the old Japanese proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. He said he regrets not doing this any sooner. It's a really low risk situation because if you're an exceptional recruiter, all you've got to do is back yourself. Having interviewed over 250 founders on this show, would completely agree with Stuart that the best founders are typically the best recruiters who back themselves and build off the back of that. So if you'd like to find out more about the Recruiter Hub and Stuart's story, you can read the whole story and the information in the show notes. Click below. Right, let's get back to the show. To do this, we've always made phone calls. Yes or no, have you tried to ring around your clients like every quarter or whatever throughout your career? You're always trying to keep in touch with people. Yes or no? Do you try and do that? Try and ring around, yeah? Have any of you ever felt, yes or no, that you've probably not made it, you're not quite cracking it. You're not quite getting hold of everyone. You're not quite speaking to enough people. There's always customers in there that you don't get hold of and you're not really working that room. You might find that they release a role to someone that you're like, why the hell didn't I get that job? And the reality is you've just not engaged them enough. Most recruiters make between 5 and 10 calls a day, 5 and 10. And that's not just clients, that's in general. Okay. That's 50 a week if you do 10 a day. And that's 2,500 a year if you're not having any time off. It's probably going to be lower than that for most of you. That is nowhere near enough calls or conversations to stand out from the competition and engage your market. That's not enough, period. Okay. And if you want to be seen as a top recruiter and you want to generate new business in a competitive market, you need to reach more people at scale. You've got to stop limiting yourself to the phone calls you make each day and the emails you send and the in-mails. You've got to be reaching. If you've got 14,000 LinkedIn contacts or 20,000 or 5,000 or 8,000 or whatever the number is, and if it's growing, you need to talk to those people. Okay. So your content that you create on LinkedIn is your power. That's how you're going to get the attention and nurture at scale. Okay. Turn the information. The key here is turn the information that you already have, the conversations you have on the phone, and put them out as content. I want to show you an example here, right? So this guy, David Lawrence, who I've been working with for years now, he wrote this post 3 years ago, but I still love it, right? How long are your developers prepared to spend on a technical test? During most interviews, developers are expected to complete some form of technical test. He's asked candidates here, how long are you prepared to spend on a test? 400 votes, 73% of the market said less than an hour. How on earth can David use this data now to enhance his business development? Anyone got any ideas? Anyone got any ideas? Put something in the chat. Anyone can think. How could you use insights? Reach out to people who voted. Yeah. I mean, there'll be a lot of candidates, but there might be some clients in there. Respond to comments. Yeah. But that research could be turned into insights that he approaches clients with. Bang on, Alan. You can actually send out messages to your first degree network. You can phone them. You can engage them. You can post about it. 73% of my client candidates tell me that they won't spend more than an hour on a technical test. If your technical test requirements are longer, you're losing 73% of the audience. Really powerful. All he's done is take conversations he's having on the phone, online, as opposed to offline, and he's getting that kind of engagement. It's not overly complicated, and it's the same stuff he's talking about on the phone. So when you take the conversations you're having on the phone and you put them on LinkedIn, you automatically scale to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 followers, connections you've got. That is impossible on the phone because you're having between 5 and 10 calls a day. It's impossible. Just put a 1 in the chat if you're with me right now, if you understand where I'm going with it. Wicked. Right. So we need to build our network and reposition our profile, and we need to nurture at scale. But then finally, we need to follow up. All right. Recruitment is all about the follow up. But when you're looking at LinkedIn and you're looking at thousands of people in your network and you're looking at big second degree search strings, it's really difficult to find leads. All right. Cold outreach without context is also inefficient and yields bad results. So we need to engage people on LinkedIn because we know they know who we are. If we stick to our first degree network, the first thing is we know they know who we are. Okay. And when we comment on LinkedIn posts on the open domain, people reply. Okay. It's much easier to get a response from someone you're trying to engage with on a LinkedIn post than in a DM or an email or an email, because they can ghost you so easily. But when you have a back and forward on a LinkedIn post or engagement on a LinkedIn piece of content, whether it's a like or a comment, and then you move it to the DM, the response rates go through the roof because you're already connected and you've already had engagement with them. And if you strike while the iron's hot, so if you engage with that person in a DM within 48 or 24 to 48 hours after the engagement on the open domain, you can then drive ridiculous response rates. So if I just show you what I mean by this, if I go to like my post here and I look at, let's have a look at a post I did here. So I did this on Friday. You know, you still need to make phone calls. This is something I say on the phone, hundreds of likes, thousands of impressions. And this guy, Luke Morrison, we've had a little engagement. If I then click on Luke's profile and DM him now, after posting we chatted on Friday on a post, yes or no, Do you think there's a good chance he'll reply to me? Because he was engaging with me on Friday. Do you think there's a good chance? Exactly. If I blind message Luke, Axel saying, hey, we don't know each other, but I wanted to talk to you about your brand, it's not the same. It's not the same. Yes, this session is being recorded, Miranda. It will be emailed out to you within 24 hours. Okay? Don't worry. You can take notes or you can just listen. So what is the ROI from this? If you do those three things, if you build your profile and keep building it, if you nurture through your content, and if you follow up every time, you keep following up on people, you're going to get a higher response rate, you're going to get inbound business, and you're going to get more revenue. You're going to have more client calls with people who know who you are, and you're going to be less reliant on that outbound in-mail process that gets ignored. Now, if you're interested in making this happen, I've got an option for you today, okay? Me and my team can help you stand out following our process and reach over 25,000 people relevant to your market, driving those daily leads and following up every day with leads that know who you are on LinkedIn, all within 6 weeks. 25,000 daily leads, 6 weeks, or you don't pay. Absolutely don't pay, okay? Now, you might be thinking, how can I make such a bold, results-driven offer like that for free, potentially? Well, the reality is, over the last 3 years, I've been working with a number of clients. So the first thing is my track record. We've worked with over 360 clients. This is all the regions we've worked with. Some of the clients are on the call today, and 4,800 recruiters in that process, okay? And some of the clients I've worked with, like this guy, Danny Hodgson, came to me in 2022, March, passive user on LinkedIn. Wasn't doing anything with his profile, but knew he wanted to. He was already billing $1 million a year in Sydney. So this guy wasn't underperforming, but he wasn't generating the requirements, the BD that he wanted. So he came to me, he followed the process. He did 212,000 Australian dollars last year from his LinkedIn profile, and he just follows the plan. He's also doubled his LinkedIn connections. Andy Taylor, based in Manchester, recruits financial planners all over the country. Again, came to us a year ago, struggling. Wasn't getting the BD. 4 people weren't reaching out across the market. In a year, they did 96,000 in fees and 12 grand in offers. One or two were still outstanding when I spoke to him last month. All from embracing this process and doing those 3 things consistently. This guy's a joke. Stuart Middleton came to me in the pandemic. He just launched his agency and he didn't even have much money, right? Brand new business. Within the first 12 months, he built 300 grand inbound, new clients coming to him all over the world. 24 months later, he's done $1 million that he's tracked back to his LinkedIn account, and he's been forced to grow his team. He's got 12 people all working around the world now. And all this business comes inbound following that process. His BD is done through LinkedIn. But also, we do it for ourselves, right? This is not something I just preach. I'm not a marketing background. I'm an ex-recruiter who launched Hoxo. Within the first 2 years, I took us from 0 to 1 million views a month on LinkedIn. That generated 2 million in revenue per year. And it's basically 2 salespeople who don't make an outbound call that close it. Like, we don't do any outbound at all. All BD is done through the process that I'm showing you. So, guys, would you be interested in finding out if we can work and help you specifically? Just let me know in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being 100%, I'd love to know more. 1 is, I'm not interested. Where would you be right now? Just to find out if we can help you. This has been all about LinkedIn, but if you're interested to find out if we can help you follow the same results as those people, then all I need you to do now is, obviously this is recorded, it'll be sent out. You can show this to your teams, but if you'd like a call with us to find out about your business, and this is only for people in leadership positions. If you're a junior recruiter on this call, you're probably best referring this back. Otherwise, scan this QR code right now and pop that. If you take a picture of it, scan it right now, that'll take you to a page where you can effectively book a call with my team. So fill in a form, really simple. We'll reach out and we'll book a call with you within the next 24, 48 hours. We have a training program. The 6-week starts in July, but we can get you going straight away with the learnings. But look, there's no obligation. We're not incentivized to sell this to you because there's a guarantee at the end. If we don't perform, you don't pay, right? So at best, we'll be like, you're right. We'll tell you about it. We'll get you going. At worst, we'll say, look, when it's not quite right for you right now, we'll give you some free advice, a game plan, and we'll probably set up a time where we'll reach out to you in the future. All right. So just let me know in the chat, yes or no, if you took a picture of that and you're going to book a call. Just let me know. if you'd like to find out how we're going to work with you and we can help you personally. Okay, has anyone got any additional questions? Rather than taking a picture, Claire, just hover your camera over it and then it'll take you to a page where you can click the link. All right. So if I go in there, it takes you to a page. All right. Right. Has anyone got any questions before we go? I tried to keep this short in 30 minutes. Has anyone got any questions? Did you find that useful? Right. Here's a link as well. If anyone's struggling with that, I'm going to put a link in. You can click on that link. That might even be faster. Has anyone got any questions before I go? Look at the recording. No problem, Claire. Anyone got any questions before I go? Anyone want to know any more? Remember, BD, the old traditional way, is the same as everyone else is doing, all right? I want to empower you with the skills and the mindset that using your competitive advantage on LinkedIn is going to help you stand out. But it's not just running at LinkedIn blind. It's having a process to follow, okay? If you work with us, there's a couple of things we're going to do, okay? We're going to effectively coach you over 12 months and give you the skills, but we're going to give you our 3X system. And our 3X system is a process that I've personally built and crafted over 6 years, which has worked with all those other recruiters. And that 3X system is going to cover those areas. So it's going to help you reposition your profile and write it in a way that's 100% written so your candidates and clients literally know exactly who you are. But also it's going to help you build and rapidly grow those networks so that you're going to know what you're doing. The next thing it's going to do is we're going to give you our content creation process. We call it the EVC method. And that method is going to enable you to stay consistent and authentically use your phone calls to produce content. Okay. But we'll give you like hundreds of checklists and guides and templates and the support, an account manager that supports you. So you can just save time by following our process, but it's proven across 5,000 other recruiters, right? It's working across the world, this process. Most people struggle with that creative plan. And then the final thing is all about follow up, but in a time efficient way. So we're going to help you do everything in 3 30-minute slots. And that's produce content, build your audience, and follow up. We'll show you where to find those leads, those inbound leads on LinkedIn. Does your method work without divulging all your personal? Yeah, of course, Daryl. Look, I advise dropping a little bit of entertaining content, I call it, on LinkedIn. It works. But if you choose not to, if you just double down on the business related content, then you'll get results, no problem. Like one of my biggest results criteria is a guy called Kyle Winterbottom, right? If I show you Kyle, this guy's done 2.5 million in 2.5 years of working with us, right? He's insane. He's literally the leading recruiter in the data market globally now, but he never writes about his personal life ever. I think he's done one post about his kids in the time I've worked with him. Everything's data. Like every day he writes about data. He doesn't write about anything else. And he absolutely crushes it. Equally though, I personally do stuff about my life and other people do. And it's really good at driving eyeballs and building rapport. So if you're trying to build rapport with people at scale, you can do it on LinkedIn, but you don't have to. I'll give you a methodology to follow and then you can apply as much as you want to each area to get the results you need. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right, there's 35 people. Guys, thank you so much. I hope that was useful. Please do click the link below. Kevin, the cost depends on how many people you're putting on. Click the link. We'll go through it on the call, okay? You'll be very pleasantly surprised, I promise you. It's not an expensive program. And the ROI results are insane. Like for people getting 6 figures in the first year on their own easily. You won't bat an eyelid at that. Any other questions? As I said, book a call. We'll jump on. We'll work it out. We're not going to push it on you if we don't think it's right, because you won't even pay. But if we do believe it's right for you, we'll show you exactly how it works. We'll give you some advice and we'll get you cracking. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. If we're not connected on LinkedIn as well, I think most of us are. I'm just going to final link I'm going to put is my profile. So I'm giving away free advice every day. Also, if you do work with me, I want to be able to see your profile and your content so I can advise you. So get on there, drop me a LinkedIn connection request if we've not already connected. Have a wonderful week. Let's go for it, guys. This time is now to push hard on LinkedIn and stand out. The market's tough, but we can win. All right. Have a good one. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye now. Thank you, as always, for listening to today's show. I truly, truly hope that you got value from it. That's the only reason I take time every week, is to ensure that my audience, future and existing recruitment owners, are learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. Today's episode was brought to you by Hoxo Media. I am the CEO and founder of Hoxo Media, and we are the world's leading content marketing and personal branding agency for recruitment businesses specifically. So we are working with over 200 agencies and 2,000 recruiters right now, both managing the brands, producing content, building written, video, podcast content for niche recruitment agencies all over the world, as well as coaching at a desk level individual recruiters in your businesses how to be better on LinkedIn. That's how to brand themselves. That's how to produce content. That's how to use the opportunity on LinkedIn to get traffic to their profiles and turn that into business. We're coaching people all over the world every single day. If any of that sounds of interest, please do visit www.hoxomedia.com or drop me, Sean Anderson, a personal message on LinkedIn. I would love to talk to you. I'll see you soon.